All right, Planet Earth, welcome to this Zoom event, 1138 or 1138, however you choose to pronounce it, celebrating 50 years of Lucasfilm glory. Here we are. My name is David Sahombing, TX99924. I'm representing the 501st Legion, the Florida Garrison, and the 501st Special Operations Detachment. Man, we got something really cool for you today. Very special guest. I'm super pumped and hyped about it. Can't wait to get into it. Before we do, though, I just want to make sure you guys check out First Robotics. That's the charity of choice for Lucasfilm as we do this event. Please take a look, support where you can. And now, let me invite my partner, my homeboy from the German Garrison, Anton Drescher, TX20113. He's going to help me question our guests today and drill them with a bunch of questions. Looking forward to it. Anton, what's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, David. I'm fine. I'm just hyped to be here, and it's such an honor to talk with this amazing guy and you guys. And yeah, can't wait to roll it on.
Hey, don't let it fool you, folks. Anton is probably like shivering in his chair over there. He is a huge fan of our guest today. And so without further ado, man, let's get right into the person that we're here to focus on today. Super pumped. Our guest is a representative in real life and in video game for the 501st Special Operations Detachment. He appeared as a face model and voice actor in Battlefront II. You might know him from the Inferno Squad. Our one and only honorary member, TJ Ramini. Welcome. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you, David. What a wonderful introduction. And Anton, it's lovely to see you as well, mate. And 50 years of Lucasfilm, so I'm tremendously honoured to be a small part of the proceedings. And isn't it lovely that the Star Wars community, it's such an international thing, and we're already reaching hands across the globe, and through the magic of technology and Zoom. Although it took us a while to get it going, let's not mess about, lads. We were on before. I'd say, can we just turn your volume up a little bit and let's adjust that light and all that sort of stuff. But it's lovely to be here, and I'm also massively enthused to get underway and start, talking about Inferno Squad and Battlefront and Star Wars and Lucasfilm and all that magical stuff.
That's right, man. We had to get those AirPods right, but they sound good, man. You got it, dude. Hey, listen, so I'm just going to kind of step back a little bit. I am a fan of the game. I played the whole campaign, enjoyed it a lot. Meeko, of course, being a member of the 501st Special Operations Detachment is kind of like my favorite of the crew. And but I am going to pass this off a little bit to Anton and kind of just step in here and there, because Anton has got to be your biggest fan. When I was asked to do this interview, it kind of took me by surprise. First of all, I was like, heck yeah, I'll do it. But on top of that, I was like, I got to bring in the biggest Meeko fan that I know. And so this guy, Anton, he has checked out every screenshot. He's zoomed up on every part of your digital body in the game. And so, Anton, fire away, my man. Have some fun.
I'm ready, Anton. Bring it on, mate. Bring it on. I'm ready for it.
Well, thank you, David, for that nice introduction. And just sorry, TJ, for annoying you in the game. I know that poor Meeko was running away and hiding from me and taking pictures of every part of his costume, but I had to do it. I really had to do it. And yeah, honestly, I'm not sorry for that. Thanks a lot for your time. It's just a pleasure for me to talk with you. Today I'm here to have a little interview with you. And I'm from Germany, as you noticed maybe, and as good as my English is, I didn't have fluid conversation since long. So I would appreciate it if you could take a little consideration on this.
Of course.
Okay, that's so nice. Okay, so I'm starting with my first question. So I'm sure many people here knowing who you are, but there are many others watching our interview which don't know. So could you introduce yourself and also tell us who you are in our beloved Star Wars universe?
Yeah, of course. I mean, as you know, I think got my name written on the screen there. So, and also, of course, David's fabulous introduction. I'm TJ Ramini, and I was fortunate enough to earn the role of Meeko in Star Wars Battlefront II. Which was obviously a follow-on to an already very popular, very successful game. And it was an interesting story, actually. It was a long story, so I'll try to, make it brief. But how the video game auditioning world tends to work is that, you get sent through a voiceover audition, comes through your agency, you bang it out. I mean, we have a studio here in the house, so, I record them in the studio, and then off it goes. And in all honesty, you forget about them, because with video games especially, you never know what it is. They always have these very secretive titles. And God, what was it called? I can't remember. It will probably come to me, like during the course of this conversation, it will come to me what the code name was. Did the audition, and you forget about it. And it was probably about 6 months later that my voiceover agent, lovely woman over at SBV called Julie Thompson, called me and said, "Oh, TJ, remember that voiceover audition you did for Walrus?" That was the code name. That was the code name, right?
What do they call it? That name? Well, who knows?
Walrus, mate. There's constantly Star Wars projects happening. Obviously, I'm sure I'm not breaking any NDAs or like blowing anybody's mind to go, there are more Star Wars projects in the works at the moment. And I can't tell you what the names are, but they always have these sort of extraordinary code names. Right. But so Walrus says, "Oh, you remember you did that voiceover audition for that project called Walrus?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Anyway, they want to see you, for a physical audition, because again, as David mentioned, I'm not just Dell's voice. I mean, I'm his face, his body, everything. Yeah. That was full motion capture. And as we know, motion capture technology has, leapt forward and continues to do so. It's actually some kind of cool. I wonder if I'm breaking any NDAs for this other project. No, I wouldn't, but I'll tell you some cool new stuff that's coming up with mocap as well. But anyway, so he's me, he's my body, he's everything. So the way that he moves and walks and crouches and shoots and everything is me. And so anyway, Julie said, "Look, they want to meet you in person." And I thought, okay, cool. And I do remember thinking that I really enjoyed the audition that I did. It was a really well-written scene. And it was a scene between two soldiers. And basically one soldier had been captured and the other soldier kind of comes to. And this one soldier says, "I know you've betrayed me. I know you've sold us out. I know." And the other soldier says, "I would never do that. I don't know what you've heard, but I would never do that. I would, I'm committed to you and I'm loyal to you." Obviously, there were no Star Warsy words in there. Right. There was nothing. There's no Empire. There's no Rebels. There's no, Skywalkers. There's no Leias. Okay, there's no Hans. There's no nothing.
Right.
They change all the names. But I remembered thinking, what a cool scene. And again, in any interview that I've ever done, or if anyone who knows me personally, like, I'm never kind of cool about being an actor. Like, oh, it's I love it. Like, it's my dream.
Right.
And actually it was another Lucas character that made me want to become an actor. But we'll get onto that later. And so I'm really into what I do. And I do feel enormously privileged to play dress up for a living. And that's what we do. We're just kids playing dress up forever. And that's magic for me. So I'm very, very grateful for that. And I just remember thinking, what a cool scene. Because again, like as an actor, whenever I'm talking to other actors or if I'm directing or, whatever it is that I'm doing, what we want is quote unquote epic themes. That's what we want to do. Our lives as human beings can often be quite mundane, quite repetitive, quite sort of banal. So if ever we get an opportunity to broach an epic theme, whether that be love, hate, betrayal, guilt, lust, passion, any of those things. Sort of, to reenact that and to make it real. Because I am one of those actors, when I said we play dress up, and that's true. When it comes to the actual acting side of things, for me, it has to be real. I have to feel it for real. And I have to kind of make that, not transformation necessarily, that sounds a bit grandiose, but I really want to feel things for real and have those moments happen for real. So even though you know your lines and I know my lines, if I say to you, how could you do this to me? Or like whatever, I really want to feel that and make sure that you feel that. You know what I'm saying? So I thought, what a cool thing. I didn't know what the project was, but I thought, what a cool thing.
Okay,
so
nice.
I go in and I do the audition, and this is interesting. The character was American.
Okay, yeah.
I've forgotten about it. He was American. And so I'd done the audition as an American. And whenever I play an American character, if I walk through the door for the audition, I always walk through the door as an American. I don't walk through the door as British TJ. I walk through the door as American TJ, which is you're listening to right now. And so the reason why I do that is because I don't want somebody to hear my British voice and think, oh, I love his British voice. And then when the American voice kicks in, they're like, oh, where did that British guy go that I really liked?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I walk through the door and I do the whole meeting like this. And I'm going to turn it off now. Back to me.
I love it.
Thank you, mate. Cheers. So I walked in, and that's when I first met Tom Keegan, who's the director of Battlefront II and a great many other video games. And God, I mean, I was in there for about 45 minutes, you know? And when you talk to other actors who've worked with Tom Keegan, he's so into it. You know, he's so into it, and his notes and everything are so specific, and he really does his homework. And I've done a bunch of projects with Tom. He's actually a really good mate of mine, like a really, really good mate. I spoke to him last week. He called me last week. Hello, mate, blah, blah, blah. Like, we're really, really good mates. He's lovely, and he's a brilliant director. And he was so into it, and we were really breaking it down, and it was incredible. And so when I left, and remember, I was American the whole time, even when we're talking, like even when we're talking about the character, I was American. And so I was leaving, and I just felt he's such a lovely man, and he's put so much into this, and we've kind of shared so much, and it's been really emotional and all that sort of stuff. I didn't feel right about leaving the room until he met the real me. So, you know, I was walking out. I was like, thank you so much. What a great day. I really enjoyed myself. Thank you for the passion and for putting everything that you did into this project. Like, thank you so much. It was amazing. And I just said, you know what, before I leave the room, I just have to say, this is the real me.
Right.
He went, what's going on? And I said, this is actually who I am. I'm not American. And he goes, oh my God, what's going on? Are you American? You can do British, or are you British? You can do. And I said, no, I am English. And he said, I do voices, and I never would have known. I never would have known. And I just said, it just didn't feel right for you not to meet the real me, because I really appreciate what we've done here today. Lovely man, lovely man. And you won't find anyone that will say different. He's a diamond, honestly. He's a lovely lad. Nice. So I leave, and mate, it was ages. And again, like, just to understand auditioning. And again, lots of actors tell these kind of wanky stories about how actors are so special. It's bullshit. You know, we're just people like anyone else, right?
Yeah.
And all an audition is a job interview. That's all it is, right? We kind of job interview for a living. So whenever you guys, or for everyone is this recorded like video, or is it just voice, or what is it?
Both.
This thing that we're doing now. Both. Okay, cool. So for anyone who's watching, listening, or both, it's the same. When everyone goes to a job interview, obviously you want to get it, right? But the most important thing is you want to hear, like, just let me know, you know, put me out of my misery, right? So that's the hardest thing about being an actor, is that when you audition for something, you're sitting around, you know, waiting for the phone to ring, which is a shitty situation for anybody to be in, right? Bear in mind as well, I still didn't know that it was a Star Wars project, but I just thought, this is wicked, man. I like the material. I really like the director. I want to get this part. And then they call back. It was like weeks later. And I'm like, you know, down to my, you know, I've chewed my fingernails down to like my knuckles, you know? Do you know what I mean?
Nice.
And every actor that I knew in LA, every Americans, Brits, whether they're 60, whether they're 16, whether they're, you know, black, white, brown, something in between, like every actor is going for this. Mate, have you heard of doing that walrus thing? Mate, what's that walrus? Like, I remember a mate of mine I've just been playing another English lad. We've just been playing football. You know, football with the feet, not that.
Oh, not our kind of football.
No, mate. not hand egg. No. So, and he said to me, mate, you know, have you? Because he knew I'd done some video games. He says, mate, have you done that walrus thing? And I said, yeah. He goes, mate, I've been in it 4 times. I've been to audition for that 4 times. I said, I've done it twice. He's like, yeah, I just haven't heard. And I said, I haven't either. So it was taking forever, and they were seeing everybody. And then they come back and they said, okay, TJ, so listen, that went really well. And I was like, wicked. And they said, you know, it's one of the lead roles. And I was like, oh, wicked. And then they said, but they want to read you for another role because they didn't know you were British. They thought you were American. And I thought, can I swear on this show, by the way? Realize I've probably been doing it.
Erica will take care of it later, man.
Thank you. All right. Okay. So I think to myself, I've messed this up. I wouldn't have said that if I got you. Right. All right.
Yeah.
So I said, I've messed this up because the American character was one of the leads. And then I've said, oh, I'm English. And now I'm not. And I was like, oh, no, what have I done?
So you thought you were getting demoted?
Yeah, mate, I did. I thought I talked myself out of a lead role. I should have just stayed American. But then I thought, well, they know I can do both. So what's the problem?
Right.
But I was really annoyed. So I went back in and I auditioned again as myself and got it, right? Got this role. I still don't know what it is. I still don't know what the project is. I still don't know that it's Star Wars. I still don't know anything about that. And then about 3 weeks later, they said, this is a Star Wars project. And again, one of those guys who doesn't pretend to be cool for a second, I was just like,
oh, dude, I would be like that too.
I can imagine that. Me too.
Yeah, I mean, my reaction was the same as you boys. You know, I was completely blown away. I was so happy. I said to my wife as well, like, you know, that thing, you remember that walrus? She was like, vaguely. And I said, you know, it's a Star Wars project. And she was like, oh my God, like, you know, so I was so pleased, man. And then, you know, things started to kind of move at a pace, and I knew what it was going to be called, and I knew it was a follow up to another game. And again, like I make no pretense, like I'm not a gamer. It's just not my thing. I'm just not very good at it, and it just isn't my thing. I'm so completely in awe of them. Like I don't know how the developers and how the story. I don't know how they do it. It's unbelievable. It's incredible. So as works of art, I'm a huge fan. I just can't play them. Just rubbish. Just a bit rubbish at them. And so when I'd sort of done some research into what Battlefront was and that this was going to be a new story, and, you know, when I met the cast, and it was, you know, it was just kind of Janina and Paul and me, really, like a lot of the time, you know, because that Inferno Squad thing was so tight. And obviously, you know, Anthony played, you know, played their dad. And of course, we had other great actors in, and, you know, Matt, who came in and played Luke, and like that was so wicked. Like, what a nice bloke, Matt Mercer, really nice bloke, and really into it, really knows his stuff. And there's a bunch of other people that I met, which were just lovely. And Mitch, who wrote the script, is a diamond. He's another really good mate of mine now. Like, I've got some really good friends from that project, just because they're all really lovely. And I remember there's this lovely woman, Elizabeth, she's called, French Canadian lady, and she called me and said, "Welcome to Star Wars."
Oh my God.
Yes, mate. Yes, oh my God. Like, what a cool moment. I remember I was in the car and said to her, you know what, love, I'm going to pull over because I'm going to crash this bloody thing.
Oh my God. Yeah, I can imagine that.
Like, no word of a lie. It's like, hold on a minute.
Man.
Pull this thing over before I wrap it around the freaking lamppost. You know, so cool, man. And, you know, I mean, I was thinking about what I was going to say. What I was going to say is that everyone took it so seriously. And again, as they should, right? But a lot of the time, I've done projects before, you know, telly, or never in games actually, but certainly telly, where people are a bit like, nah, don't be like that, man.
Yeah.
You know, don't be like that. You have a responsibility, professional responsibility to yourself and to your team and everything. You know, it's hard work to get people even to audition for something. Honestly, you know, there's a lot of actors out there.
Yeah, and let me tell you, the Star Wars fans have a huge energy in general. Like, Antone, myself, every person in the Legion, people who are not in the Legion worldwide, and it's really cool just to see a person who's in the universe like
Yeah.
pour out and give out that same kind of energy, man. It's awesome.
You know, I mean, I appreciate that, mate. But in all honesty, like, who the hell are you if you don't show that respect?
Yeah.
You know, not only to the project and to the people who've put all that together, going back, you know, Lucas back in the day, and then everybody else. But also, like you just said, what about the millions and millions and millions and millions of people around the world who not only this is really important to them, like really, really, it helps them.
Yeah.
It helps them. It helps them deal with their life. Yeah. Life is hard, man. Like I had someone reach out to me. What was his name? I'll look him up in a second. And he just said, listen, you know, we wanted me to make one of those videos, you know, a cameo video for his mate. He just said, listen, TJ, this is my mate. He's been really good to me. It's been a very difficult time. Obviously, you know, 2020 was, you know, that was hard, man, for a lot of people, you know. And he just said, he's such a good mate to me during that time. He's a massive Battlefront fan, like loves all that. Could you please make him a video and just say, thanks for being my mate? And I'm like, what a lovely thing to do. Yeah. Number one. Yeah. Number two, what a privileged position for me to be in, that I can say, listen, man, your mate X thinks you're brilliant. And I just want to say to you from him that you're a brilliant friend, being so supportive, being so caring, being so compassionate, so considerate and generous and kind. And it's meant the world to him. What a nice position for me to be in, to be able to pass that message on to somebody else.
Absolutely.
So you're damn right. I take it seriously, man. Yeah. Damn right I do. Yeah. And any people from the 501st that I've met, whether it's on Zoom, you know, different garrisons, or people that I've met in person, like the people who made my suit meticulously, and of course I'm going to say thank you so very much, man. Like what a special thing. And so, you know, it was lovely to work on something where the material was really strong, the director was fabulous, and Janina and Paul were great actors to work with. And like I said, the other actors who came in and, you know, played other roles as well, wicked, you know, Anthony and Matt and, you know, a bunch of others, Laura, and, you know, who came and played Gleb, and she was, you know, it was great. And so for me, I said to Mitch, actually, who was the writer, because I did get to say, you know, may the force be with you. Like, not to your mate at the pub, you know what I mean? Like when you're 10 pints deep, you know, and you go, mate, you know, when he's leaving, may the force be, like, not one of those.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you just say, this is the way. That's what you call your buddies in the pub. When you get drunk, you say, this is the way.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way out. Exactly. And so, you know, and I said to Mitch, like when we did that and blah, 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 I said, mate, I've just said the number 2 on my list of lines that I've always wanted to say as an actor.
Wow.
And he said, number 2, what's number 1? And I said, Bond, James. That's number 1. But that was number 2. Dude, amazing.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, that was just kind of a good and a nice answer. And just thanks a lot for that. And means much to people like me who made the costume, who made Del Meeko. I was so impressed to see that figure in the game, to see that character, and also the awesome acting. And yeah, and that brings me to my next question. As you've been reading the script of the story mode, what was your thoughts about the story mode itself? What did you feel when you were reading that?
I mean, again, it was important for me to, you got to ground everything, right? Yeah. So you've got to let the Star Wars thing kind of go. You got to let it go. Like right. as a fan and as a human being, you know, there isn't a single person on Earth that doesn't know what Star Wars is. You know, like whether you're a fan or whether you're not, everybody knows what it is. So the first thing is like, okay, you got to let it go. You know, let that go. And then for me as an actor, the most important thing in any project is the script. It's the most important thing. And there's, you know, lots of sort of sayings in show business. You know, one of them is that you can take a great script and turn it into a terrible film or a show or a game or a project. You can take a great script and screw it up in a multitude of ways. However, you cannot take a bad script and turn it into a good project. It's impossible. Right. It's impossible. And so you really kind of have to understand what the story is. So again, as an actor, I separate myself and I don't focus on, even though I knew I was playing Del, like here's this guy, I'm not going to say, oh, who's Del? Who's Del? Like, oh, you know, you skip past everybody else and you just want to know about yourself. It's not the way to go. You know, you've just got to read it as a story and be disciplined enough not to focus on who you are playing, and then just say to yourself, what is this about? What is this here in its entirety?
And by this point, I'm sorry to interrupt, TJ. By this point, you knew it was no longer walrus at this point.
I didn't think I was going to be getting fitted for tusks and like whiskers and stuff like that. I can catch a beach ball like you wouldn't. But I knew by that point. I'd already had that call, like "Welcome to Star Wars."
All right, great.
I'd already had that, so I knew what it was, and so I was just trying to remember as well, because you get it in sections. You know, again, the scripts for these projects are so long.
Right.
You know, you get them in sections, and I did another big video game last year, and I finished shooting it in the earlier part of this year. And I'm doing some VO and stuff for it at the moment. And mate, the scripts are massive. They're like 350 pages, 400 pages long. You know, they're huge. And so I'm just trying to think whether I knew about the whole Empire to Rebel to falling in love aspect of it, you know, and, you know, having a kid and like becoming an old man and having like this life-altering meeting with Luke Skywalker and, you know, Luke and Del on Pilio and, you know, hashtag Duke, you know, shipping that.
That on Pilio was that level I had to annoy you the most. And
please.
Again, I'm just not sorry because it's my job to do that. But I enjoyed it a little bit because it was so funny to see Del always change the position every time I just got the perfect position to take my picture, and Del just said, "No, that's so rude. Just leave it." And he changed the position, and I was sorry for that. I say, "Damn, Del, what are you doing? Just taking pictures. What's your problem?"
Yeah, it was, you know. So again, I'm just trying to remember when I was reading the script whether I had it in its entirety or whether that was released, you know, in sections. And again, of course, you know, scripts change all the time. Now, I'm also a screenwriter. You know, I've written scripts before. I'm constantly, you know, writing several of them, and they do change and evolve all the time. And like even once it's sold, it's not like you're like, oh, wicked. No. You know, it changes again when the director comes on. It changes again when the distributors come on. It changes again when the producers. It changes again with the actors. And then, of course, it changes after the table read. It often changes while you're shooting it.
Right,
like there's another project which I'm doing, and we've started shooting it, and everything's changed. You know, because the script is king. You know, the script is the most important thing, and it is constantly evolving. So I think probably, to answer your question, Anton, like what I thought of the whole journey was, for me, obviously, it was very exciting because Del was such a long-serving member of the Empire, you know, born on Coruscant, like was led to believe that rebels were the rebels were these terrible, murderous terrorists, you know, who are out to get us, which is of course so applicable to our modern time. You know what I mean? Like that we are led to believe that these terrible people, and then of course, well, you know, sign me up. And he was terrified of the Jedi, terrified. You know, these awful, lawless, band of rebels who, these secretive people who have magical powers, terrified, and I would imagine as well, like Del would have lost members of his family and, during the Clone Wars, and, he's seen a lot of violence. And also Del was the first member of Inferno Squad.
Yeah.
Number one, the first one. And again, Christy, who wrote the book, she's a diamond as well. Christy, lovely. There's so much detail in the book, and how Iden is saying, why isn't Del the leader of this thing?
Yeah.
And again, it's Del's character and his personality to understand, and also kind of his age. He's been doing this for a long time. He's been and served all over the galaxy in so many different capacities. And he's such a skilled guy. He's an engineer, and he's a mechanic, and of course he's an incredible soldier.
Right.
But part of his great ability, and I know that a lot of people in the 501st, are military or have connection to the military or ex-military or whatever it is. And I myself was a naval cadet. I went to a military school. You have to go and be a part of that kind of world. And so, discipline is such a big part of it, but also great decision makers in life, and certainly in the military, like part of their skill is that wisdom to understand the extent of their limits.
Yeah.
And for Del, he's like, I'm just not the leader of this thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what I should do. He knows how capable he is, but understanding one's limitations, I think, is why he isn't the leader. And even Iden was like, it should be him. And he's like, no, it should. And it is you. And again, he doesn't have an ego. That's Hask's thing. You know what I mean? Like, whatever's best for the mission, let's do that. And I think that's one of the things that was very appealing to me about his character. And I also think a big part of why him and Iden, fall in love.
All that romance,
yeah.
Okay.
Just a decent bloke,
So it was like that. So you've been able to identify yourself with Del Meeko. So the things he's done, the reasons why he changed it, is it something you would say, oh, that could be me? I would be loyal right to that moment when the Empire starts to get, or to take away, or a direction I could not agree with. So is it something you would do, on your own way, like you are in personal?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's difficult to answer a question like that honestly until you're actually in a position like that. But I think that a great many people, and again, like, this is our world, all the time, now, before, into the future, that people will believe a certain thing. This is what I believe. This is how I was raised. And this is what I believe to be so. People talk about brainwashing or indoctrination or whatever it is. Like, sure, we can use big posh words like that. But listen, man, if you're born into something, that's what you're going to believe. Right. Like, the reality that we live in now is how we perceive it to be, and that's the same for everybody. So I think for me, like, if I was committed to something, I am going to give it my all. Like, that's just kind of who I am. I don't do anything by halves. Like, if I'm going to do something, then I'm going to do it to the very best of my ability, whatever that may be. And that's very true of me. If I suddenly thought that energy and that focus and that concentration is perhaps not being utilized for something good, then I reckon I would have to have a serious conversation with myself.
Have that Del moment.
Try to weigh the pros and cons and be like, hold on a minute. And also, things can change. Like, even if, what you're born into, even if at one point it was good, things can change, man. It only ever takes one person to mess up the party. You know, you can be at a party and having a brilliant time. There can be 50 people there, and then one, what's a non-swear word? Jerk walks through the door.
Good job. Good job.
And it ruins it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. Good catch. Mate. Yeah. You know, that ruins it. And then some people can be like, oh, I think I'll join him or her, or you know, or I'll fight him or her, or be against him or her. You know, but just one person who isn't, you know, a good person can mess it up for everybody. So I think that crisis of conscience is very real for Dell and would have been building for a long time. You know, what's it that Luke says to him on Pilio about, hasn't the Empire done enough damage to innocent worlds? I think that was the line. He would have seen a lot of that. And there are just some things which one can justify as a casualty of war, and then other things, you know, the murdering of countless innocents, that one can't.
Yeah. So, and after the game, so let's get a bit more far when the game was released. So the game came out. What was the first thing you can remember? What happened after that? The game was released, and what was your thoughts about? Okay, the game's out now. It was just like,
okay,
I mean, cool.
I remember. Yeah, I certainly wasn't okay, cool.
Later, I was like that. I was, oh, it's out now. Just
exactly. We're all like, all right. So I remember going to EA Play, you know, which is this big live event that, you know, EA does, where they're releasing new games. And again, like, I'm not a gamer, but I'm so completely inspired and fascinated and in awe of it. So I was there, and Janina was there, and my mate Mitch was there, and I met a bunch of lovely people as well from the video game industry while I was there. And Janina presented it. You know, she was like one of the people up on the stage, like talking about stuff, and you know, it was great. And obviously, Battlefront closed the show. Like, it was the game that people were talking about. So I thought, you know, that's really cool. And it was a bit of an emotion and kind of stimulation overload for me, because again, I'm not a video game person. So I went to this event, and it's so loud and so visually spectacular as well. And you have these, I remember, I'm a massive football guy, right? I love football. And so obviously FIFA games are pretty big business, right? So I remember there was this massive screen. It must have been about 60 feet high, and it had Ronaldo on it, you know, and there's Ronaldo, you know, handsome as hell, right? Ronaldo, perfect human specimen, you know, and he was kind of like that. And of course, it's not Ronaldo, it's a video game version of Ronaldo. But I'm looking at this thing going, how is that not Ronaldo? You know, and it was such a big screen. And I remember looking at the perspiration on his face and the fabric on his shirt expanding and contracting as he was breathing. And I'm thinking, how do you guys do all this stuff? How are you that talented and that special that you can make this stuff so real? And also, they're so lovely. I've never met one person in the video game business I didn't think was love. They're so nice. They really are. And they're so complimentary to actors. You know, TJ, like, you know, oh mate, in Uncharted, you know, Salim, and incredible, man, you were amazing, and I saw you were amazing, dude, and when you voiced that thing in Bayonetta, and I'm like, really? Because I just turn up and kind of go, where do I stand? Like, over there, say this stuff, you know. I mean, not to underplay what I do, you know, I put a lot of work into it. I have put a lot of work into it, and again, I take it very seriously, and I try to give it my absolute best. But there's still a bunch of people who are going, you know, for months and months and months and months and months, who get this face and put it on your screen. And if you want to make him jump up and down and go, woohoo, you can.
All right.
Like,
is extraordinary. So we did that event. Janina and I, there was a bunch of 501st people there, which was brilliant. It was lovely to meet them. We all had pictures and stuff. I posted all this stuff on my Instagram and on Twitter and all that sort of stuff. Just so cool, man. So I was massively excited. And again, just to see I mean, that lettering, the style, it's iconic, you know?
Yeah.
And one of the things that I talk about a lot with regards to kind of modern cinema and modern gaming and the kind of the big franchises now, you know, I was going to say a lot of them are really cool. Some of them are cool. Some of them are cool, right?
Yeah.
And people can determine which ones are cool and which ones are not. They're not iconic.
Right.
They're just not. They are just not. Now, a lot of this will probably be my age, right? You know, I'm a kid of the 80s, so it came to me at such a pivotal time. But you do 3 notes of the theme song, and we're like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You get that John Williams, a couple of notes in this new stuff, you know, the superheroes. What's the theme song?
Yeah.
No one knows.
No.
It's generic hero music, right?
Yeah.
It's not the same. It just isn't. It isn't the same. You know, da, 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 da. It's not the same.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that, and we all know the reprises, and we know, you know, we know the Force tune, and we know Darth stuff, and, you know, we know all that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not like a massive Star Wars fan. I love them, and I've seen them many, many times, and it's the only triple bill movie I've ever seen in my life. When I was a kid, me, my brother, and my best mate went to go and watch the originals back to back.
Right.
You know, so I'm really into them. But even if you're not, you hear da 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 da. Yellow words on the screen. It's iconic.
Absolutely.
So connected to that, dude. I'll take that to the grave. You know.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, TJ.
Yes,
so at the EA Play, did you have the Del Meeko costume? Did they have you wear it while you were out there?
No, I didn't get the costume.
Excuse me.
When did I get the costume? We were doing
for the Star Wars show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were doing a Star Wars show, and was it then? Because I remember being led around. As an actor, you're constantly sort of led around.
Right.
And again, we're just very used to being, you know, to doing what we're told. Come this way, TJ. Okay. You know, just in there. Okay. Gonna wait there. Okay. Can I get you anything? Can I get a cup of tea? Of course you can. You know, You know, that's it. So I think it was while we were getting ready to do the Star Wars show, it was because I remember trying them on. Yeah. So it was when we were doing the Star Wars show, and again, you know, putting on the breastplates and the belts and the stuff and the boots and the, you know, amazing. And there was this lovely bloke called Radu. I remember his name, Radu. Really nice bloke. I think he lives in Pennsylvania. I think.
I'm sorry to interrupt you here, TJ. I really am, but you know, we thought it'd be kind of cool to surprise you, and let's bring Radu in here, Gina.
Oh, you're joking?
I'm not joking.
Oh, mate, look at that.
So here he comes. Radu wanted to say hello. We brought him in to surprise you, man. Definitely not kidding.
There he is.
How you doing?
Hey, man.
Hello, mate. Nice to see you.
How have you been?
I'm absolutely fine. Mate, I'm just giving you a massive shout out. And there you are.
It's like Beetlejuice.
Seriously. I know. I didn't even have to say it 3 times and you appeared. Amazing. You look at that. You got the poster in the background and everything. Yeah, man. So wicked.
This was I had this in the shop for the longest time, and I'm in the process of moving right now. So that's why I'm like, I have this giant poster.
Yeah, amazing.
That's what hangs above my machine.
How nice to see you, man. Really, really nice to see you. I was just saying to the boys about, you know, when you did my costume, and I said, this great guy, Radu, his name was, I remember him like it was yesterday. And then boom, there you are.
Yeah.
So nice, man. So nice.
Hey, Radu, how are you?
How are you?
I'm fine.
I have a large German Shepherd that just started barking, but he's going to stop now.
We can't hear him. It's all right.
He's respectful.
Prior to the getting the costume at the Star Wars show, everything was green screen, right, TJ? Like you didn't actually wear any armor. Like when you were doing actual filming and all that stuff and recording of the voiceovers.
Oh, dude, it's all just mocap suit.
Yep.
Or just mocap. Yeah.
So with Radu, that was your first time actually being Del.
100%.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd never put on the helmet, like nothing, you know, and even the weapons that we had, because again, the lads made the weapons as well. You know, like we've got it all, and they're actually paintball guns fire. I mean, talking about technical people who can do incredible things, like Radu, and you did amazing things. So even when we were shooting it, the weapons that we were using, you know, were just kind of rubber, like M16s or, you know, MK5s or, you know, something like that. So it was also the first time that I held any of Del's weapons was when I met Radu.
Yeah.
You went on training for about a half hour also.
Yeah.
You went on the firing range. The weapons are actually made by, they were real paintball guns made by Thomas Spina.
Okay. Yeah, they were superb, and they worked perfectly. Yeah,
and they literally showed up, I think the day I did. Because we did everything original. The first day was everything at a studio out in, I don't know where, somewhere. It was a Disney studio. There were a bunch of,
it was
Halloween.
Yeah, Burbank or something, yeah.
It was Halloween, and the not the Musketeer, the Mouseketeers were all dressed up in costumes. Right. So it was fun to have you guys all dressed up with the Mouseketeers. It was there was a lot of candy too.
Which is always a bonus.
I was happy.
Absolutely. I bet
we had to get everybody suited up in, I think we had 3 hours. We had 6 people to get in.
And we'd never even put them on before. So it was an incredible kind of feat of engineering as well as anything else. I remember as well, like when we were filming Battlefront, for some reason, there wasn't a military consultant, you know, which was really bizarre. And I remember having a conversation and just going, you know, these guys are meant to be the best of the best of the best, and there's no military consultant.
Right.
Doesn't make sense, you know. And I remember saying, look, I did all this when I was back in school, but that was, you know, back when Methuselah was a boy. And the thing is as well about military tactics is that it changes all the time. It changes all the time as the technology and the equipment and everything improves. I mean, you know, even just kind of basically, like, even if you look at how soldiers stand now, like back in the day, it was about kind of minimizing your profile, you know, whereas now they stand straight on. Yeah. Like that. Very sort of sexy. It's not like a cool, but it's because they have a huge Kevlar breastplate. And it was similar because I was saying, well, can I see some kind of mock-ups of what these guys look like, what the Inferno soldiers look like? And again, they have, like, just looking at it at the back of Radu's shop there, you know, they have this huge kind of breastplate here, but here, like in real military nowadays, you're susceptible. So you actually want to take that stuff straight on if you can. Right. If you turn and it hits you here or hits you here, you know, you're done. And what was really cool, again, my mate Tom, who's the director, and just, you know, everyone was cool on that project. And AJ, who's his mate, who's his producer, and she's brilliant, and we're really good mates as well. She's brilliant. As we all had a little chat, and the next day there's 2 Navy SEALs on the set.
Okay, that's good.
TJ said we needed this. Let's get this done.
Yeah, and let's do it right. You know, we just had a conversation about how important it is. Like, not just for me as an actor to feel authentic, like I'm not faking anything. You know, I don't want to be a fake, but also for the community. You want to know that we put every necessary step to bring you the best project that we possibly could, and pay homage to the Star Wars universe, and just to you to you guys as fans or gamers or, you know, whatever. Get it right. And so to have 2 Navy SEALs there was brilliant. And I remember Paul and I and Janina, we went into a separate mocap studio. We shot it in this facility down in El Segundo, which is about obviously it's in LA, and it's about 20 minutes south of LAX, the airport. And we went into a separate mocap stage, and we just ran drills for about 2 hours. You know, and, you know, spotting things, and this is how it, and again, they never held a rifle before. Right. Like, and again, So you've got to get used to that, and then also understand that you're special ops. So there's a very different. So for example, again, because I play badasses a lot, right? You know, I'm a big, dark-skinned dude, so that's gonna, you know, you're a bad guy, right? You know, and so I carry weapons a lot, and I'm used to it. And so it's about, again, sort of tucking your shoulder, you know, again, sort of minimal. You don't want to be carrying a gun like that, you know, so you're about tucking in. But again, the spec ops guys kind of do whatever they like because they're spec ops. So they're so relaxed. Right, you know,
talk dirty to me. This is what I like. Come on.
Yeah, they're so relaxed in their body, and also it's just that kind of thing of, you know, muscle memory. You know, you've just got to be so at ease with this weapon that's in your hand, and just the way that they move, and the way that you walk, and the way that you communicate. Because again, that is all captured in the game, and we wanted to get it right. And yeah, man, we owe a huge debt of gratitude to, you know, real, authentic Navy SEALs who came down and were so cool and so generous and so patient, just so we have that style. And, you know, again, I remember when I was doing sniper training, there was a sniper, right? I haven't ever done that. And I was just like, how am I going to get this right? And he said, well, listen, man, you're about the right size and build and everything for, you know, one of these guys for real. And it's that whole thing of, do you want to like that? Or, you know, how they put their hand on their shoulder, you know, he's like, do you want to do it like that? And I said, mate, you know, which one is more authentic? He said, both of them. It's a comfort thing. And I remember kind of doing both, like kind of having it there, and just, it felt good, and I'm adjusting everything. And then, cool, man. We want all those details. You know?
What you're saying is, in short, and then I'll let Anton take back over here, but what you're saying in short is the special forces troopers like yourself, like the guys in black armor, spec ops, we actually hit our targets unlike our white armored counterparts. That's what you're saying, right?
Those are short.
I let you say it so eloquently, but I will.
Go ahead and confirm it for the Star Wars world for me, man. Go ahead.
What is it that people typically say in the military? I can neither confirm nor deny. Is that what they say? Listen, we had first-rate training from the very best. Let me put it like that.
That's how we roll. Go ahead, Anton.
Yeah, man.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. It makes me really proud to be part of the great spec ops detachment of the 501st Legion. And that brings me to one point I wanted to ask you is, you became an honorary member of the 501st Legion. How was that for you? I can imagine it was awesome.
Yeah, of course it was. And it was a brilliant end to a brilliant day. You know, it was a long day. Like, you know, Rowdy was saying, you know, getting suited up and everything took time, and then we had to do some training with the weapons, and then we were out on the course, and then we did this paintball thing, and you know, it was a long. And then of course you have to do actory stuff, and you know, do interviews, and you know, be entertaining and do all that sort of stuff. And it was a long day, and so at the end of it, when I was presented, you know, with the coin and with the badges and with the award, and of course I have them all, you know, it was a tremendous honor and just a lovely way to put a button in a fabulous day. And again, just kind of showed me what a wonderfully giving and caring community this is. And again, it just made me feel very privileged to be a part of it.
So you're not getting confused about your newly won knowledge of an organization of fully grown people wearing plastic during the weekend?
No, I mean, this is a funny story. So when I was in England, I was on a very long-running television program. It was a cop series. It was called The Bill, and The Bill is like a slang term for the police, you know, like the cops or whatever. So The Bill, and The Bill ran for like 26 years. It's this huge TV show. And I was the renegade detective, you know, how there's always that character on a cop show. You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, the sort of cop who, you know, if a perp had done something and you knew that he'd done something, but you couldn't prove it, he'd grab you around the back of the throat and go, you're going to go back into that interview room and you're going to tell them what I know that you did, or I'm going to go to where you live and I'm going to put up your poster with your address and your phone number on it and saying this guy abuses children. Now go back in there. Or, he's like, so everyone was like, oh God, I love this guy. He was called Zane, right? Zane, cool name and everything. And he was this badass cop, right? And I remember I was going to an event, whenever you come out the studio, there's always fans, right? There's always fans who are waiting and they want a picture and an autograph and stuff like that. And I come out and I'm doing a few things and taking pictures and chatting to people and signing things, and a lot of them would be repeat people and be, oh mate, nice to see you, and blah blah blah. And there was a driver who was waiting for me to take me to this event. And I got into the back of the car and he drives away. And he goes, all those people waiting outside in the rain, like, what's all that about, kind of thing. And I said, oh, they're fans of the show. And goes, yeah, man, but, standing there for all those hours and like, what are they doing with their lives and all that kind of thing, right? And I said to him, are you a football fan? And he said, yeah, love me football. And I said, who do you support? And he goes, I'm a Chelsea fan. And I'm thinking to myself, of course you are. And then I said to him, do you ever go to Stamford? And, I've got lots of friends who are Chelsea fans and all that, so I know the ground and everything. I said, do you ever go to Stamford Bridge to watch the games? He goes, yeah. I said, do you ever go to watch them training? Oh, yeah, of course. I go any chance I can get, down at Stamford Bridge. And I said, do you go and you stand there in the rain and all that? Yeah, of course I do. And I said, have you ever met any of the players? And he goes, oh, a couple of times I'll wave at them if they're coming off the pitch and whatever. I said, have you ever got any of their autographs? He goes, no, not yet. And I said, who's your favorite player? And they said, oh, John Terry, who was the captain of Chelsea at the time. And I said, well, these guys, they're not into football. They're not into Chelsea. What they're into television programs. The bill is their Chelsea, and I am John Terry. And that was it. So whatever it is that people want to do on the weekends, if you want to get dressed up in a plastic suit and run around and pretend to be a stormtrooper or, Princess Leia or Han Solo or, Boba Fett or whoever, how about it, man? How about it? What fun. And again, talking before about how our lives can be mundane, banal, repetitive, and a lot of the time seemingly meaningless, and a lot of the time really dark and depressing, to go and get together with a bunch of your mates. And again, I have gone to a couple of 501st events and I've met all these people and they're so kind and sweet and generous. I don't care what people say. Oh, these people are way, whatever, man. We're all into whatever it is that we're into. And if people get together and are sharing love and sharing a community and an appreciation for something and being kind and being compassionate to one another, more power to you, man. If more people like that were in the world, we'd have no problems.
Amen.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
it'd be cool to get up with you we're heading out to Celebration next year. A lot of the 501st members. It's in your area, Anaheim, of course. And man, it'd be awesome if you do make it there. We're gonna have to keep in touch, man. Maybe we can hook up, get you with all the Spec Ops members. Brother. Troop with
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
How true, Kevin? You did some Halloween event. I saw pictures of it, and I'm like, I gotta get in touch and get him a better belt. It was in between big jobs, so I was like, oh, we'll be in touch. And I kind of figured that you'd be at a celebration. I was at the Chicago one, and Janina was there, and it was one of those I waved at afar, and I'm like, I had to buzz in and buzz out. I couldn't stay for the whole thing.
Right.
I had back to work.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to go. And again, like I said, I've had nothing but really pleasant experiences with everyone from the 501st that I've met and had any interaction with. Again, for me, I never really kind of. I just don't know how they work, or how one attends or anything like that. Again, like I said, actors are constantly getting told what to do. We're such big babies. Yeah. Okay, TJ, like this is where you go at this time. This is the person who will meet you. They will give you this pass. You go to this thing. You go to that event. You say hello to this person. You go. That's the kind of thing, as pathetic as it sounds, that we need. Because otherwise, I just don't know what I'm doing. Do I just turn up in my outfit and go, all right, do you know what I mean? I just don't know how it would work. But I would.
Erica and I will work it out with. Erica and I will work that out with you, man. No problem. Right, I got you.
Yeah. My man, I appreciate it.
Anton, I think you got one more, right, man, to close us out here.
Yeah, first of all, I'm gonna have to tell you something from a Legion brother of mine of the German garrison. His name is Stefan, and his ID is TI 30813, and his costume is Gideon Hask, and as such, he wants me to let you know that he's not sorry that he had to shot.
I was wondering what he was going to say. Stefan, listen, mate. If I was to respond to you properly, poor old Erica would be bleeping the whole thing. It never happened.
That would be awesome.
I know that it was all about Iden. It never happened, mate. You lost. Let it go, man. And I died as an old man, having raised a lovely child and had a wonderful wedding. So you die on your own, mate.
Okay, that's good. Okay, you have already teased us right in the beginning. So here's my last question, maybe. So I've planned just one question anymore, and I'm not sure to ask for, but since there are many posts around the social media coming from several Battlefront 2 actors that they are working together on any project again, so that makes the community, including myself, asking ourselves, is there anything you can tell us about those rumors? Is it something in Inferno Squad related?
Without getting into trouble.
No,
without getting you in trouble.
Yeah, no, I understand. And listen, I'm well aware of the restrictions and how tight the NDAs are. But I think it's fair to say, like we said earlier, there are constantly Star Wars projects, like constantly. As we know, there is always a voracious demand, and so the Star Wars, the people behind Star Wars are going to try to meet that demand. Having said that, with regards to the video game side of things, they take forever. They're so difficult to do, and it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people working thousands and thousands of hours, to try to bring these things to market, and of course, whilst honouring the fans and whilst honouring the legacy of the project. So I will say, yes, there are always Star Wars projects happening. Am I involved in any of them? That I can't divulge. Are any of my mates that I've done projects with before, are they involved? Again, I can neither confirm nor deny, right? So, I just can't say, guys. But, as and when there is more information available, then, you'll hear about it. I mean, again, another thing that I can say is that the people behind the Star Wars projects do try their very best to honor the fans and like what it is that they're looking for. And so, yes, there are more Star Wars projects in the work. Yes, there are. Do they involve me? Do they involve like any of the other Battlefront 2 people? I can't say. I'm bound, right?
So,
I'm bound.
Well,
so we're keeping an eye on your posts, and honestly, during the last month, I tried to ignore some because you've always sent me hungry to bed from your cooking things. You're so awesome, and sometimes I try to ignore, but sometimes it's late and I can't get any food because sleeping with a full belly is just not fine. So I tried to ignore some of your posts, but they're so nice, and I will follow them again, I promise.
Bless you. Yeah, bless you. Yeah, I mean, listen, anything that's up and coming is always going to be on my social. As soon as I'm allowed to say anything, and again, I love interacting with the fans. I really do. It's difficult for me to respond to absolutely everything, but anyone who sends me messages, on Twitter or on Instagram or on Cameo or whatever it is, I do endeavor always to go back. I think there are very few people that I haven't managed to speak to, so I'm always happy to talk to them. I'm not on Facebook, and I never have been. I know there are some TJ Raminis on there, and they've even got my picture and all that kind of thing. None of them are me. I've never been on Facebook in my life. But Twitter, yes, TJ Ramini. Instagram, yes, TJ Ramini. Cameo, yes, TJ Ramini. So those are all my kind of legit social media accounts. And again, happy to interact, happy to do stuff like this. Once again, you're lovely lads. I appreciate it, and I've enjoyed talking to you today. It's been brilliant. Cheers.
Well, thanks, TJ. Man, we appreciate it. And I'm definitely going to have to ping you up on Instagram at this point after this conversation is
brother,
over.
yeah.
But listen, on behalf of the 501st Legion, 501st Special Operations Detachment, on behalf of all Star Wars fans, man, we so appreciate you being with us today. It's been a blast. I feel like, man, anytime I have conversations like this, and I'm sure Antone and Radu can agree, we leave feeling like we're a little bit closer as human being family, you know, so we do appreciate it. For all you people that are watching us out there, make sure to definitely take a look at First Robotics, Lucasfilm's charity of choice. We appreciate you tuning in to 1138 or 1138, just celebrating the 50th year of Lucasfilm and all the awesomeness that they've put out, including Star Wars and including our guy right here, TJ Ramini. Listen, everybody, appreciate you tuning in. Go ahead and say goodbye, guys, and we're going to check out of here. Thanks, TJ.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Thank you. And honor, guys. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.